Thank you for tuning in to Coffee and RPGs. My name is Solomon SK, and we got some amazing RPG and MMO gaming news, including the success so far that is Lost Ark. Babylon's Fall is an ARPG you might not have heard of. The Division is now going free to play. Blizzard is working on potentially 2 new games. World of Warcraft patch 9.2 goes live soon, and a juvenile RPG, whatever that means, has been announced. With all that being said, I hope you guys join me for today's episode, and as always, if you guys got your coffee ready or beverage of choice, let's go ahead and cover these articles together. Cheers to you guys. And as always, I'll have a short version of today's episode over at the right-hand corner in the form of a card if you're interested. But really quick, let's go ahead and get some non-RPGs news out of the way. And I had to cover this one, especially if you're like me and you played with the original old school beat 'em up on the NES. And it says here that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge confirmed for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version, adds playable Master Splinter as well. Now there is a Switch and PC version of this game, which truly I really do appreciate, and that's being distributed by Steam. As I get older, I must admit I'm getting nostalgic for these type of games. Also, really quick, Activision confirms that the next Call of Duty will be a sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare. And what's really cool about this is that they are actually using a new engine from the ground up. I don't know if it's going to be based off the previous engines that they've been using from Infinity Ward. I believe they just call it the Infinity Ward engine if I'm not mistaken, but in any event, probably one of the most hyped games so far will be Elden Ring, and it seems like the system requirements appeared on Steam just briefly because it was taken down. And if you are curious, these are the minimum requirements, and so recommended hasn't been announced here, but obviously you're looking at a Windows 10 or Windows 11, Intel i5 processor or Ryzen 3, 12 gigabytes of RAM, as well as a GeForce GTX 1060 or an AMD Radeon RX 580. Now, this does seem to be the minimum requirements for 1080p 60 frames per second at, say, low-end graphical settings, and if you want anything higher, obviously you're going to go for the RTX 380s and whatnot. And so, I mean, I suppose we'll see when they've officially been announced. Now, Lost Ark had a little bit of a slight rocky launch, but it wasn't really that bad considering what other MMOs go through. And it says here that Lost Ark rockets into Steam's all-time concurrent player list after delayed launch. Now, on the Steam database, it did say that Lost Ark came under 1 million with just 984,111 players, beating out Amazon Game Studios' sibling, The New World, which peaked at 913,634 players. That should just give you an idea as to how much people have been waiting to play this game over here in the West for such a long time, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun. I've actually decided to main the Gunlancer. For whatever reason, that class seems to click in my brain better than all the other classes, even though it wasn't really my first choice, but hey, you know, I'm still having fun regardless. Now, this is a game I actually haven't heard of until a few days ago, and it says here that Babylon's Fall demo for the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 launches on February 25th. As always, I'll have the preview or trailer playing down below me, and I must admit, this game is giving me Gauntlet Legends vibes. I don't know if you play that in the old school PlayStation 1, N64, and Dreamcast days. And obviously, because Lost Ark just came out, a lot of people are going to sort of semi-compare this to Lost Ark, even though this isn't an MMO, rather an online ARPG. And I must admit, this game looks really, really interesting. It looks fun. It has a really impressive trailer, just like Lost Ark did, but there are some concerns that I have. Now, before we get to those, it does say here that in the demo, players can enjoy up to 4-player online multiplayer starting from the game's opening, including the tutorial. Save data from the demo can be transferred over to the full version of the game when it launches, which is always really nice. But the game actually does have a premium price of $60 at launch, but it will also include a battle pass system, and I would assume an in-game cash out with microtransaction as well. And I'm willing to give the game more of a chance if it was free to play and it actually had a battle pass system. But I mean, all that monetization, it just, I will admit, I'm not a huge fan of that. But will I give this game a try? Absolutely. Like I said, it kind of gives you that Gauntlet Legends vibe that I really like, and obviously it's more modern, but in case you actually do want to play this game, it will be due out for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC via Steam on March 3rd if you're curious. Now, another game I'm really interested in, even though I never really played any of the previous Division series before, even though I really wanted to, but like I said before, there just aren't enough hours in a day, and I do apologize that the title is cut off on the right right there, but it says that Division Heartland, open world game modes, and more details leaked. Now, what sets this particular installment of The Division apart from the previous ones is that it's going to be free to play. Now, it will feature 2 game modes, a PvPvE mode named Storm, and a PvE mode called Excursion, which serves as some sort of tutorial for the Storm. So for all intents and purposes, I guess it just really only has one mode, unless you want to keep playing the tutorial over and over again. But basically it says here that the Storm adds PvP to the mix, and it's apparently very similar to Escape from Tarkov, a game that is similar to the survival mode from the Division 1. And that necessarily doesn't even have to be a bad thing, because Escape from Tarkov is an extremely popular game right now. But I love how a lot of these games are making survival games now. It seems like the past few years it's been all about battle royales. Now it seems to be survival games, or a combination of the both. Now, if anything, the Division series actually has been known to be a looter shooter. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to abandon that aspect, although I'm pretty sure loot is still going to be a huge part of this game. But of course, just to let you know, these are leaks, so nothing is set in stone. But overall, I'm actually really excited about the direction that they are heading with Homeland particularly. I think it could do possibly really well, considering the trend that, again, as I mentioned earlier, we seem to be seeing. And lastly, it says that the Division Heartland does not have a clear release date, but Ubisoft confirmed they are hopeful it will be ready for the fiscal year of 2022 through 2023, which means it could be coming sometime before March of 2023. And now we got an article for MMORPG.com, and this is really interesting because last time I covered a survival game that Blizzard is working on, and apparently they're working on another game on top of that, as it says here that Blizzard is creating an unannounced game within the established Blizzard IP. And this was brought to our attention by a new job listing that they posted for a lead content designer. And it goes on to say that since Blizzard has several high-profile established IPs like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, and the others, the overall pitch does seem to focus on role-playing as central to what the person will be working on. So one might be looking towards the future of Warcraft, for example, or at least the author of this article would assume. I was hoping more for like maybe an Overwatch battle royale, or perhaps Diablo first-person shooter, or StarCraft, I don't know, survival game, I don't know. At least that's the impression that I had when I first read this article. Who really knows? But in any event, Blizzard does seem to be moving forward despite all the controversies that they're going right now. And really quick, I know I covered some of the server merges that are taking place within the New World. I wanted to bring it up again because I didn't know how, I guess, severe the server merges were going to be. And just really quick, it says here that Central Europe has 28 servers merging into new ones. US East has 18 servers being merged. US West will see 6 servers merged into other servers, and Australia will have 8 servers merged into 4. And just to kind of give you an idea, I believe the New World actually had at least 100 servers, and now they're being consolidated into not even half the number. Just to kind of, yeah, I mean, oh man, it's really unfortunate to see such a game fall from grace so fast, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, I'm still rooting for this game, but at the same time, I get the criticism, and I think and I believe that they're all valid. But at the end of the day, I'm really hoping that Amazon could really pull off a miracle here, because it's a fun game. It's just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Now, there's another MMO that I don't really talk about that often, and it's Palia, or Palia, however you pronounce it. I do apologize. And this game is entering alpha testing, with developers sending invites starting today. So I'm just going to call this game Palia, so let me know down in the comment section below if it's actually not. But Palia is the upcoming self-described cozy and welcoming MMO. Definitely words that generally don't describe MMOs in the genre right now. And as I go into MMORPG.com and their description of the game, it says that Palia is a massive multiplayer community simulation game set in a brand new high fantasy world with elements of open world adventure games inspired by Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. So that's probably why they are describing themselves as a welcoming and comforting MMO. It's also, yeah, also cozy and welcoming for fans of the community of the sim genre. Definitely not your traditional MMORPG or just MMO game in this particular instance, as it says there in the genre. But yeah, I'm kind of interested. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but because they're doing something different, that kind of piques my interest, admittedly. Next, we got an article here from MassivelyOP.com, and it says that Star Wars: The Old Republic team discusses 7.0, class balance, and item pending removal, which is always unfortunate. Why do they keep doing this? Now, I did read the article, and the devs are talking about some of the class balances. Wasn't really interested in that. But if you do head on over to their official webpage and their forums and I definitely recommend that you take a look, especially if you still do play this game, such as myself. They list all the things that they are removing, which is unfortunate. I guess they're getting rid of the renown leveling system, which is too bad, because there was another leveling system previous to renown called where you got command crates, command rank, right? I believe that's what it was. And it's just like they keep replacing it and removing it, and it's just I don't know. Either way, I'm still excited about 7.0, but man, it's just sometimes I really wish they just leave it alone, or at least just increase the cap of the ranks or the levels or something. I don't know. Next, going back over to PCGamer.com, we got World of Warcraft Eternity's End that goes live on February 22nd, otherwise known as patch 9.2, and this is the last one for the Shadowlands expansion, and so who knows what they're going to do after this, maybe another expansion, or yeah, I'm not going to speculate on that just because I really have no idea what's going on. But some of the features will include a new zone called Zereth Mortis, as well as new world and daily quests, new world bosses, new campaign chapters to work through, as well as a new raid called Sepular something of the first ones with the 11 new bosses. Goodness, I can't pronounce anything. 9.2 patch will also see the end of the Shadowlands PvP Season 2 and Mythic Plus Season as well. Now, really quick, this is something that I covered last time, but no, this isn't the patch where it actually allows the Horde and the Alliance to play together in a dungeon. That will be patch 9.2.5, and that's probably right around the corner given the 0.5 at the end of that patch notes, or patch name rather. Now, I have no desire to play this game whatsoever, but I thought I'd cover it just briefly here anyways, because it is Harry Potter, a very popular intellectual property, and it says that Harry Potter Magic Awakened collectible card MMO begins pre-registration on Google Play. And yes, it is a free-to-play collectible card and massively multiplayer wizarding dueling game featuring a blend of strategy RPG for worldwide launch in 2022. Starting now, players in the Americas, Europe, and Oceania are invited to pre-register on Google Play. Pre-registrants excuse me, will be notified upon the game's release and receive exclusive in-game rewards at launch. And when I read all that, I instantly thought a cash grab. This game just seems like a huge cash grab to me, and I mean, yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. Not really interested whatsoever, but you might. If you are, don't let my opinion change whether or not you want to play this game for sure. But this is why I'm not a fan of mobile games in general. Now, for something unusual, in a way, it says Marvelous announces juvenile RPG, and I have no idea what that means. Sounds kind of sketch, to be honest with you, called LOOP8 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch, and this is due out in Japan in 2022. Now, I do have the trailer playing below me, and it kind of looks like your, run-of-the-mill JRPG, which isn't a bad thing. Now, scrolling through this article, I actually have, there's no description of what a juvenile RPG is, and I tried Googling it too, couldn't really find anything other than this game, but best I could really describe it as, or it says here that LOOP8 is a juvenile RPG in which you live your life every day and fight the extraordinary. Live a summer on your own while forging relationships with the people around you while fighting calamities known as the Kegai. Yeah, again, run-of-the-mill JRPG. It looks kind of interesting, but again, unless you speak Japanese, I guess you can't really play this game. But if you know what even that juvenile RPG even means, let me know down in the comment section below, because again, I have no idea. It just sounds very odd to me. And this actually might interest some of you old school MMORPG fans out there, especially if you never played Ultima. But Ultima Online is aiming to launch the Ultima Online New Legacy in 2022. So basically what this is it's a fresh start server where you play Ultima Online as it first came out all those 25 years ago. And they're doing this to kind of focus on the broader audience who never really played Ultima Online now and then, which definitely includes myself. Now, these servers, or shards in their case as they call them, will have slightly different rules for new players, with more simplified and more immersive mechanics and systems for the game, so it allows players to be able to see what the game is all about without all the headaches from launch, I would assume. But in either event, I'm really interested in this one, just because again, the nostalgia factor that I mentioned earlier with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and just being able to play this game. Now, I know we've been seeing tons of crowdfunded MMORPGs, and I would say 90-95% of them just ended up being completely just utter garbage. But I'm really glad games like Past Fate is making the effort and just making a lot of development and a lot of progress over these years, because, man, I haven't talked about this game in, say, I believe 2 years, but basically in this article it says that they are making changes to the Newharbor area, making it more open and less annoying, which is always really nice. And so I'm really rooting for the developers over at Icy North Games. Hope they actually prove me wrong, or prove the other 90% of the trash crowdfunded MMORPGs out there, and saying that, hey, you could always find the diamond in the rough with this particular one. And really quick, we got some announcements and updates here and there, and first up is Disgaea 6. The complete edition announced for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, as well as the PC. Now, the Japanese version will be released on June 16th, followed by all 3 other versions for the rest of us in the summer. Continuing on with the JRPGs, Atelier Sophie 2, I think I'm pronouncing that right. The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream pre-launch previews gameplay, as well as screenshots. We also got DC Universe Online in the news with their game update 120, which is introducing the Valentine's event for the game, which is called Love Conquers All event. The Elder Scrolls Online has the February bonuses with the return of the Whitestrake's Mayhem, and this is a PvP centric event right now. Black Desert Online is also introducing their own Valentine's event with chocolates. But what's really interesting about this is that you could actually get GMs to participate in your node war. Now, we all know that the GMs in game in any particular MMO usually has more power, more privileges than us plebs who play the game. So I'm not exactly sure if they're going to contribute in the actual fighting of node wars. But if you are curious and you are a guild master, post a recruitment message in the find party menu to tag one of the GMs to get their attention. So who knows, maybe with the press of a button they'll just obliterate everybody. I don't know, but I do find that really interesting. This kicks off on February 15th in the EU region, and day 2 is going to be on February 16th. But for those of us in the North American side, it will be on February 17th, and the second day would be on February 18th. All right, everyone, that does it for today's RPG and MMO gaming news. I really do appreciate it if you made it with me so far, because the watch time significantly helps with the algorithms. And if you haven't done so, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below if you haven't already done so. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I'm really excited about getting that achievement, that goal, and that milestone. Hopefully things look up from there and whatnot. And so yeah, any help is definitely appreciated. Anyways, everyone, I will finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.